do it. So thank you, thanks.
I am so excited. Oh my God, was that amazing or what, y'all? Come on. Oh
Yes.
my God, this is the afterflow for our Achieving Success Mastermind and Action Session. So, what you just experienced was a group of individuals who are committed to your success. We were talking about successfully leading yourself and others with joy and intention during challenging times. That's what we've been talking about. Now, we're going to do a quick recap because it's so important. We know that people want to get this information in. We don't have a lot of time. So we're going to have to we're going to do the express version. We're going to ask each of my guests to tell us who they are, tell us a little bit about them, something that we wouldn't know, we wouldn't believe was true, and then tell us a little bit about their action strategy, that one thing that they wanted you to get out of today's session around achieving success in business and in life. What is that one thing? Now, again, my name is Traci Harrell. I'm president of the Seattle chapter of the National Black MBA Association. I'm also president of It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting. And one thing you wouldn't know about me is that I've completed 3 marathons, one in Hawaii, one in Jamaica, and an inline skating marathon, the inaugural marathon at Disney. And my definition of success, what success really means to me is really, how do we live out the life that we were put on this earth to do? That's what it means to me. And how we get there, what you can do is just decide that you get to decide what success looks like, right? It's really about the power of belief. If you believe that you can do a thing, you absolutely can. It's about being intentional, taking action, and being consistent. That's me. Now we're going to go to Miss Charmaine. Miss Charmaine Wright, tell us who you are.
All right, real quick. Who I am as a mother. I didn't say that earlier, but the thing that you should know about me is I'm a mother and a wife, and I'm organic in nature, and so I had 3 of my children in my home. So that's the thing that you should know about me. And in terms of defining success, I think defining the success real shortly is the alignment between who you are and why you were put here on this earth, the relationships that you have, and pouring into them to the greatest extent possible, and then how you've gone about executing what your purpose is. And the alignment of all those things is defines or is a framework to lead you to success.
I love it. Thank you so much. Rasan, same question.
Rasan Freeman. I'm a merger and acquisition intermediary and entrepreneur. And a couple things you might not know about me is I've never tasted alcohol and I've never tasted coffee in my life. And definition of success would be waking up every day loving what you do. If you love what you do, you haven't worked a day in your life, as a wise man once told me.
I love it. Dr. Z, now just to clarify, I'm asking you guys to identify who you are, a little bit, that one thing that people wouldn't know about you, and what action are you asking people to take to achieve success, defining it and achieving it.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Zaid Abdul Kareem, known as Dr. Z, greeting you in light, love, peace, and harmony. I president of Universal Self-Leadership Institute, coaching, training. Anyway, something that not known about me, I barely got out of high school, y'all. Almost went out of college, right? So, that's the truth. How do I define success? Happiness means a lot of different things to different people. What it means to me is peace of mind, greater levels of joy, greater levels of peace and freedom.
Love it. Thank you so much. Dr. James Smith.
I came in kind of late to the group, so I guess I can take just a few more minutes to identify myself. I'm a retired corporate executive, 34 years with a Fortune 500 company. And even though I had my MBA, one of the things that are unique about me is that I joined the National Black MBA Association in 1993. So I've been a long time member, and I kind of dropped out for a while there as I was working on my PhD. After I retired from the corporate world, I ventured into going back to school, graduate school, and got my teaching credentials. And I've been an adjunct professor at one of the local universities. And one of the things that I look at from a success standpoint is being able to define success in the moment. because how I define success in my corporate career is a little bit different than how I define success in my career subsequent to my corporate career.
I love it.
The impact that I'm making and the difference I'm making, and I view success as being out there making a difference, especially in the educational world and especially for Black boys and girls.
Love it. Thank you so much. Dr. James Carter, another Dr. James, Dr. James Carter.
Hi, my name is Dr. James Carter. I am the executive director for the Breakfast Group. We have a mentoring program called Project Mentor, which operates in the Seattle and South King County area. I'm a retired Chicago police officer. I'm a retired first sergeant from the United States Air Force Reserves. What you would not know about me is I'm going to go a little bit with what Charmaine said. So I helped deliver a child on 65th and Ingleside in a car in the middle of traffic in the middle of the day. And would you believe the parents named the young lady Jamie after Officer Carter? So that's what you would not know about me. I would define success at this stage in my life as the opportunity to be able to share love, knowledge, and wisdom. To have 28 years of military experience, to have 23 years of experience in Chicago on the street, to have a couple of MBAs and a PhD, and then not share that with our young Black and brown boys and girls would be a waste of all that I've been blessed with and all that God has given me. And so to be able to give back, not just to the community, not just to people, let's say, who could afford to listen to what Dr. Carter would have to say, to be able to give back to young Black and brown girls, boys and girls who need that role model, who need that push, who need that guidance and that direction. It makes waking up in the morning and looking at the person in the mirror much easier to do. So.
I love it. Thank you so much. Now, this Achieving Success series is a part of a broader movement. We're calling it the Achieving Success, the movement, right? So this is about changing the status quo. Each of these people have talked about their contributions to others, helping youth and all the things that we do. And so when I mentioned I'm president of the Seattle chapter of the National Black MBA Association, what I didn't mention is that our national president, Miss Shawn, I had an interview with her, and I am going to share that right now. We're going to share part of that interview right now. We had some technical issues earlier today, so we're going to make it up, and we're going to share right now. We want to make sure that this gets out as a part of the series. So we're going to share. This was just an amazing video. We're just going to share the interview, and then we're going to come back and comment on what she had to say. So check out Miss Shawn Graham. Shawn Graham, how are you? I'm so glad to be with you today.
I am wonderful, Tracy. It is a pleasure, and I am loving your background. Oh, it's natural.
I got it. Yes. So we've been talking, and then we decided we should probably start this recording. So let's get to it, my darling.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I brought you here today to talk about a topic related to this series I've been leading. But first, I want people to just get to know you a little bit. So what would you like to share? What do you think everyone should know about you?
People should know that I am a root for the underdog kind of person. You know, I love to see people who have been counted out as win. And I have always been that way. Yeah, I love to see people win once, you know, because there are so many instances people are counted out. Even when I'm watching, you know, if I don't have a particular team, if I'm watching football or basketball, and, you know, that team that everyone is always rooting for, I'm going to root for the other team because people have counted them out. And it's the same with life and people who are trying to make changes in their life, or people who are saying negative things about someone. You know, I think, you know, it's just to understand those individuals. You know, everyone has a story. And, you know, once you really, truly hear their story, you know, I'm going to root for you.
I love that. That is beautiful. So tell us one thing about you that most people wouldn't expect to be true.
I think people, since I'm a CPA, CFO, accountant, the perception has been that for people who know me professionally, they think I'm an introvert. But once they get to know me, personally, I am very much outgoing. I am silly. I love cracking jokes. I love to dance. I love to cut up. And even when I was younger, I was very creative before I started to pursue accounting. People would be surprised to hear that I was active in the arts. I went to the Harlem School of the Arts for ballet. I don't know ballet, but I took some classes, but I used to African dance. I would travel doing African dance around the city. I took drama class in high school, dance class in both high school and college. So there's an entire creative side. I used to love to write poetry, short stories. And I think that part of me, people would never expect that part of me to be true.
That was fascinating. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was great. Now, this series is called Achieving Success in Business and in Life. Okay. So how do you define success? And what does achieving success in business and in life, what does that mean to you?
Well, success is obviously different for everybody, I've never equated success with titles or for money. And even in my spiritual life, I've never prayed for material things. I've always prayed for that, God, please give me good health. Please wake me up in the morning and give me the health to make a difference in other lives, the lives of other people, or to get up and go to work every day. So for me, success is just making a positive difference in the lives of others.
Oh, I love it. And if you think about achieving success in business and in life, is it the same thing, or is there some other?
It's the same. It's the same thing for me, because even in my existing role, and I'll give you an example. In my CFO role, I have a team of accountants, and I'm also over IT. And so I have like my most senior person who works with me, and I motivate my entire team. I set goals for my entire team, and I make sure that they have the roles. I make sure that they have the tools to be successful in their roles. So my most senior person, my job is to prepare her for the CFO seat. And so I don't have any job insecurities. You know what I'm saying? So for me, helping them win, helping them be successful, it's my job is to help them be successful and to prepare them to grow in their roles. So that's what I do personally. That's what I do professionally. I mentor young people. I'm active in the community. So for me, that to me is just success, personally and professionally, just making that difference in the lives of other people, because that's my feel good moments, regardless of whatever I've acquired. Seeing other people succeed, to me, is what it's all about.
I love that. Are we loving our new CEO, y'all? Yes, I love it. So now we brought you here today to talk about a topic. It's successfully leading yourself and others with joy and intention in challenging times. And this is one of many topics, but I really wanted to focus on this idea of leadership. And so I didn't start with leading others. And typically that's what you think about when you think about leadership. But I started with successfully leading yourself and others. So when you think about leading yourself, what does that mean to you?
For leading myself was really learning from my mistakes, utilizing wisdom, and self-control. When I think back, even as, 5 years ago, when I think about where I was and who I was 5 years ago, I look at the amount of growth over the years, and which has enabled me to do a better job being a leader. Full transparency, I used to be a hothead. I would go from 0 to 100 quick. But when you grow, when you exercise wisdom, when you exercise that self-control, it makes a difference, because if I'm not able to do that, I cannot even begin to lead anyone unless I check myself. So, over the years, I've learned to take a couple of steps back and critique myself. And I think about, okay, should I have said that? What should I have done differently, or could I do something differently? So I think it's always a matter of just taking a couple of steps back and just checking myself.
I love it. I love it. I agree. When I think about leading yourself, it's how you show up. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing your journey. And it's kind of something we all can continue to do. Now, when I think about leading others, do you have any success strategies that you would share on how you lead others?
There's a few things that I do. Number one, I try to inspire them. And the number one thing that I like to do is to hear people. I think it's important that you hear people, you just not just listening, but truly hearing them. And having a high level of emotional intelligence. Being able to effectively communicate with other people, the host, you can't communicate with everyone the same way. And those are some of the tools that I use when I lead other people, because, I look at my team, I look at the entire organization, the entire, even looking at corporate headquarters. When I break it down by departments or even individuals, everyone has their own communication style. Everyone works differently. Everyone receives information differently. So, I cannot take the same approach when I'm leading any of the teams within the organization. And it's no differently like with your children. You can love your children equally, but you're going to love your children differently because your children are going to have different needs. So you have to do the same thing when you're leading people within your own organization.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Was that amazing or what? So what I wanted to do now as we transition back, well, this is part of the afterflow again. We were supposed to bring her in earlier on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring back our guests. We're going to stop sharing the screen and we're going to bring back in our guests. And what we're going to do is ask each of you, what were your key takeaways? What were those key things that you got out of the original session? And then we're going to wrap. This is the end of the wrap. But I wondered, how exciting was that? Dr. J, you're the oldest member. No, sorry, I'm not supposed to say oldest. You're the longest standing.
I've coached you on that.
Standing member of the Seattle chapter. How exciting was it to see our new female CEO of the national chapter? How amazing was that? Now, that's just a part of the interview. We'll show more of that on the September 6th session. But how do you feel about that? How fascinating was that?
It was extremely fascinating, and what really grabbed me right off the bat was that the transition of leadership is going to just go tremendously great. Yeah. She is going to bring great livelihood to the position and great knowledge and interaction. And she said some things there that really hit me real hard, and that's making a positive impact on the lives of others and making a difference in the lives of others. And those are the kind of things that I live by, and the things that I've done in my subsequent corporate career is trying to make a difference in the life of others. So I really appreciate her saying that, and I appreciate the approach that she takes, and the fact that she said, hey, sometimes you have to take 2 steps back. And I think all of us have learned that over the years, that if you didn't sometimes take 2 steps back, you could really back yourself into a situation that is very difficult for you to escape yourself from a mental standpoint and from a standpoint of emotion. So I really appreciate what she's bringing to the table and how she's going to really impact the organization.
Yeah, that was nice. That was excellent. So this is the end of our afterflow, y'all. There's more to come. Again, this is a 2-part series. These are a mastermind series that is paired with an action and accountability series, because you can know a thing, but if you're not doing the things, right? If you're not taking specific actions, then this idea of achieving success will be lost on you. That's why I was very intentional about the topic, right? We said successfully leading yourself and others with joy and intention during challenging times. So I'm going to ask my fabulous guest to just share with me real quick, what is the one takeaway as we recap and close out? What is that one action that you're going to ask people to take into the next session? What was that big takeaway for you? And you guys can respond in your order of choice. Unless I'll call on you.
I'll jump in so that somebody else won't take what I wrote on my
paper. We can double down. We could be the amen corner. You could be like me too. I like that one. Yeah, so what were your key takeaways?
Dr. James Smith already took one thing, but the other thing that really stuck out for me is she said, prepare people for your position, right? A lot of people are so concerned about their position and their place. And how are they looking and all that. But she's, I love that she's about preparing other people to win. And, my corporate experience, they kind of drilled that into us too. It's like, well, who are you preparing to take your slot? Right. And that's the true proof and evidence of a leader, that you have other people, you develop other leaders.
That's it.
So I really appreciated those comments.
I love it.
I'd like to say you just took what I didn't write on the
Well, great minds think alike, y'all.
Here's the one thing that you learn in the military. If you want to move up, you need to know your job. You need to know the job of the person of the position that you want to take. And you need to know the job of the person who's behind you, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to move up. You have to prepare the person behind you. You have to prepare yourself to take the job that you want. And that's a constant. You can't stop that. So I would say that's certainly wanting to touch on that, Dr. Z. And then also one word that's really important. That was a theme throughout the day: listening. It's just really important listening.
I love it. I didn't mention on this broadcast, but Dr. James Carter is actually the president-elect for the Seattle chapter. So me being president for multiple terms, my role was to really find someone who not only could do the work. There's a lot of passionate people in this chapter, but someone who was willing and understands leading a nonprofit, an unpaid role, by the way. So he has agreed between Dr. James Carter and Dr. James Smith, who said, hey, I'm the longest standing member of the chapter. I will support him in any way that they can. So we got 2 Dr. Jameses for the price of 1, y'all, in leadership. How exciting is that? I couldn't beat that. I couldn't pass up on that. So I'm loving that. Thank you so much, Dr. James. Rashawn, tell me, what was your takeaway? What is the action? Again, as we go into our next session, we're asking people to do some things. What is the thing that you would recommend that people do?
I'll say it again, and what I repeated in the last one is just don't focus on the negatives, focus on the positives. And there's always a solution to the problem, especially in times like this. Don't be afraid to lean on your network, because you probably got some good people around you that can help.
So I'm gonna, you're not supposed to lead the witness when you're a coach, when you're doing any type of work like this. But I'm gonna lead the witness. I'm about to lead Dr. Charmaine to whatever you're gonna say. Add this to it. He just said there's always a solution. And the reason I'm gonna lead you, because you, myself, and Dr. Z, again, we just finished the David Baer facilitator certification. So right now, as a success coach, as a certified success coach, a certified facilitator, I honestly know that I can help anyone. This is what I do. I can help anyone focus on their mindset and move to the next place in their life, move to the next level. And we have conversations that he likes to say, there are no problems. And I heard you say there may be problems, but there's always a solution. So talk a little bit about that. There is always a solution, and how important it is that we focus our mind on that solution.
It's recorded.
You want me to talk about this?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. I will simply say this. If you are having a conversation and you're trying to convince somebody that there are no problems, it leads them to feel a certain kind of way, and they will spend their time trying to digest the concept of there are no problems. However, if you approach the topic from the standpoint there is always a solution, it does 2 things. 1, it promotes creativity. It provides hope, and it allows for the collective to come together to be able to solve things that go beyond yourself and involve the rest of humanity.
Yes, and yes. Again, there is so much more for us to talk about. This is the brief recap, the afterflow from the main session, and then we have the next session coming up, y'all. This
One
was
point, Tracy, can I
you must. I would love for you to, please.
I would like to comment on my takeaway from this group.
Yeah.
And for the whole session, and that is what I want people to take away is the beauty, the power of collective wisdom. The demonstration of this group to come together in love, for each of us to understand our unique value that we bring to the table, and to be able to listen to one another, share, but collectively come to a place where in collaboration, You can solve any issue. You can go out and make serious impact in the world. That's the takeaway. And so what I would want people to do is not to take their journey alone, but to get together with like-minded individuals so we can actually solve the issues of our community, to bring up all of our young men and women that are coming up, because it is in community, it's in collaboration and relationship where we need to learn and show and demonstrate what that looks like. And this was an awesome place for us to do that. I thank you, Traci, and every single person that has spoken, that they have brought their collective wisdom to the table to be shared. But what magic it can happen when we come together and do that for the benefit of our culture.
I love it. Yes, yes, and yes. Listen, this is Traci Harrell, and then the name of my business, to echo what she just said, is it's all bigger than me. It's all bigger than me, but together it's not bigger than us. We got this. More to come. Bye.